Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar on how to use FSTA on Web of Science. Our presenter today is Carol Hollier, Information Literacy and Outreach Manager at IFIS Publishing. Carol joined the IFIS team in September last year and has over 10 years experience as an instruction librarian at universities in the UK and US. After Carol's tutorial, we'll have a question and answer opportunity. So if you do have any questions for us, please send them in using the chat facility at any time during the webinar, and these will be addressed at the end. We will be recording today's webinar and we'll be sending out the recording to everyone who attends afterwards. If you'd like to receive a certificate of attendance for today's session, this can also be provided. My name is Hannah Casbolt, and I will be available on live chat throughout. Now over to you, Carol.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. And hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today or this evening, depending on where you are in the world. My session for you is about using FSTA, the database, to effectively find food science information. And so what I'm going to do is begin with a little bit of an overview of the database, and then I'm going to actually jump into using it and demonstrating the features and how to use it to best effect. So we'll start with using the basic search. We'll look at the FSTA thesaurus in some depth, and we'll look at advanced search, and then we'll also look at the filters and analyze results features that are available to us, as well as the search alerts and how you can export your results. And finally, at the end, I'm going to show you additional resources that we have made available at IFIS Publishing, so that they're free for you to use if you should want to. So please do feel free to put questions in the chat, and also we'll have a question and answer session at the end. So I will just move quickly on. The PowerPoint part really is quite short. And so what I wanted to cover first is just a very fast overview of what it is that you'll be finding in FSTA. So it's a way for you to find research, to locate research that's been done in the sciences of food and health. And most of that research appears in the form of journal articles from scholarly journals. But it's not all that we have. So 30% of our content comes from other sources. And you'll see that there's a big chunk of it from patents, which can be a really excellent way to see, emerging trends, but also research that's been done in a proprietary setting where it's not happening necessarily at a university and not being shared until it's to a point where people want to protect their intellectual property. And so they really are a valuable resource. There's also reviews, conference proceedings, and then some standards, some legislation, some reports, and some books and book chapters, as well as a few theses. So if we look at the content from another angle, we focus on food commodities, not surprisingly. But we focus on them in relationship to the commodities themselves, but also in relationship to health. And so we cover all sorts of food commodities, including pet foods. And the database is truly multidisciplinary. And that's one of its strengths, clearly. And one thing that people don't necessarily know that we do in FSTA is that we don't index all journal titles cover to cover necessarily. There's a lot of core journals that we do index cover to cover, but then we also go out to journals that are not necessarily things that you would expect to be following within food science and health and nutrition, but we will locate and index articles that are related to food science and nutrition in, for instance, engineering journals or in marketing journals and so forth. So we're really having that as our focus and looking for that information wherever it might be published. And really, at the core of FSTA is our index. So it's really what powers the search experience. And we comprehensively index every article that is in the database. And it's not done by artificial intelligence, it's actually done by people. And we deep index every record. And this is to help you search efficiently and effectively. We have more than 13,000 subject headings. And so we have the most comprehensive food science and nutrition thesaurus that there is. So I'm going to show you how that works and how it makes a difference to your searching within FSTA. So it'll take me just one moment to move over to.
Thank you, Carol. And while you're doing that, if I could just remind everyone that we're happy to answer any questions that you have. If you do have any questions during the presentation, if you please send them to us using the chat facility, and we will discuss them at the end.
Thanks, Hannah. So now I have gone into FSTA in the Web of Science. And so the first thing that I want to point out is that you need to pay attention to your entry point, which won't necessarily look like mine. It will depend on how your institution has it set up, depends on how many different products within Web of Science that you subscribe to. And I can't demonstrate it entirely because I only have access here to FSTA. But many people, especially at universities, will have access to the core collection of Web of Science. So it might well say, when you log into Web of Science, it might well say core collection here. And you'll see there's a pull down menu, but I can't pull it down. But usually if you have access to more than one Web of Science product, then you'll have an option to search the core collection or individual databases, so FSTA or Biosis or CAB abstracts or what have you. And then you'll also have an option to search all databases, so search everything at once. And while I can see that there's advantages to searching all databases, some of the features that I'm going to show you today that are really helpful for doing a very precise search within FSTA are only available if you're searching FSTA directly. So it's very important that you look and see where you are searching. And if you want to use the source directly, for instance, you need to be searching within FSTA itself. So usually, depends on how things are set up, but usually once you log in and you've found yourself gotten yourself into FSTA, then you're usually on basic search, and there's usually one search box, the way that we're seeing right here. And so the default search here is topic. And when you search topic, that means that you're searching the title field and the abstract field and the subject heading fields. And so I'm going to do a really quick search, a really basic search, nutrition, and search it as topic. And as you can imagine, we're going to get a lot of results because that's a very broad search. And we're going to look at the second result here so that we can see, okay, here's the title field and our term nutrition does not appear there. Here it is in the abstract. So it's We suggest that FS diet for broodstock nutrition of pearl of gourami, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where a word appears. And then here are the keywords, which are the subject headings for this record. And these are the terms that have been assigned to the record by our indexers. And these are the terms that get assigned to the record are the ones that are really trying to capture the essence of this article. So pulling out the things that it's most importantly about. And the reason that I wanted to show this to you right away is just because you can see how having a word in the abstract doesn't necessarily capture the main concept of the article for you. So in this case, they're talking about what is good to be feeding a kind of tropical fish that people have as pets, I think, and so that they stay healthy and breed well. And so it's really about the fish and their food rather than like human nutrition or something else. So it might not be the kind of nutrition that you're thinking of. So I'm going to go back now to search. And I'll clear out this search so you can clear out stuff very easily. You can also reset here if you want to clear a search. And I'm going to then, show you some of the other options that you have for searching. So you can search just the title field if you want to. You can search the author or the inventor. And when you select author inventor, you'll see you get a link here that's an index, and that's a tool for you to try searching for a particular person. So you can search with their surname and then an initial, or if you know two initials, then you can use that. And there are quite a few Smiths R's who are available, so I would want to have a sense of which one it might be. And then if you click add, then that person is added down here to the bottom, and then you click on OK. And suddenly their name has populated your search field. And if you search, keep this as author inventor, and search, then you'll get all the articles by this person, Smith RJ. Similarly, there's author identifier. So that's searching on ORCID IDs or the Web of Science identifiers, author identifiers. So not all articles in FSTA will have this, but many of them do. So it's another way that you could try searching. We also have the option to search, and this really is the most important one, I think, for what I'm showing you right now, at least, descriptors. And so if we click on descriptors here, and I'm going to clear out Smith, you'll see that like we got that link for searching authors, we have this link select from thesaurus. And so this is how we get into the thesaurus itself. And we can start to explore it a little bit. And here, right above the search box, there's really good advice where it says to truncate your term. So type wheat with an asterisk, and that will broaden your search a lot. And I'm going to show you a quick example of how that can be really useful. So if we're doing a search, we want to find stuff about waste. So we're thinking about sustainability, perhaps, and obviously waste in food is very important. If we typed waste there, then we actually only get one term, which is wastewater, which might very well not be the sense of waste that we're looking for. But if we truncate this instead, then suddenly we get quite a few more options, and we can see that we have, instead of waste as a singular term, we have wastes, but we didn't know that. And so it just made it so that we had more options appear. So we were more likely to find what we actually wanted. And so now sometimes it really doesn't make any difference. So if you type coffee and you don't truncate it, you get 27 results in the thesaurus. But if you do truncate it, you also get 27 results. But it's one of those things that never hurts to actually do. So, and it can be quite helpful to do. So I'm going to stop with waste and use a different term, yogurt. And I am going to truncate it. And search. And you can see that we are getting quite a few results. We're getting 28 results. And you'll notice that some of these are capitalized and some of them are written with smaller lowercase letters. And what this tells you is the ones that are in all caps are the official thesaurus terms, whereas the lowercase terms are ones that are going to map to one of the official terms. So if I go to soy yogurt, then if I want to see the term itself, I click on this little T that shows it in the thesaurus, view the thesaurus details. And when I do that, you can see here's the term soy yogurt, and it's actually been spelt with an H, so the British way. But we can see that soy yogurt is used for all these variations of ways that scientists in the field are writing soy yogurt, soybean yogurt, soya bean yogurt, soya yogurt, etc. So they all are talking about the same product, but it's something that has many, many different names, many variations on the name. And so the used for terms really helpfully gather together all of these variations that can be used, that are used, and pulls them under soy yogurt. So if you use soy yogurt, then it will pull together cases where in the abstract or in the article or in the title, they've maybe used one of these variations, but you still find all of these. So it helps you really be sure that you're capturing an international spread of literature. So you're capturing all the different kinds of terms, all the different formats of terms that people might use. So if we look at the H here, then you can see it says view and hierarchy. And that shows you where in the tree, so to speak, your term falls. So the top term of this hierarchy is foods. You can imagine we have a lot of terms under foods. And then we have, so we have foods, and then we have animal foods. Then we have plant foods. So plant foods is the one that it's falling under because soy yogurt obviously is a plant product. And then we go down and we see that we have vegetable products and then soy products. And then here we have soy yogurt. So scrolling down, we can see where it falls. Every time there's something that has a little plus next to it, you actually have narrower terms below that. So you can open that up. And if you don't want to scroll all the way down again, you can jump. You can use this jump to highlighted term. So you can get to it easily, quickly, and then you see what this term is and what are the narrower terms below it. Now, if you want to use these in a search, then you have to search, you have to click add, and that will move it down here. And then if you wanted the narrower terms as well, you would have to add each of them. So you can see how they're being added with an OR to a search string here. And then it tells you can transfer the selected terms to the search page. So you click OK. And these have all been transferred for us to the search page, and it's searching them as descriptors. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to leave that there, but I'm going to go back to the thesaurus again. And I just want to show you something else about the thesaurus, which is sometimes if you have a term, so I'm going to search vitamin C deficiency. And there it is. And if I open this up in the hierarchy, then you might notice that at the top of the hierarchy, there are 8 different entries here. So with this one, the top term of the hierarchy is additives. If we scroll down a little bit, you can see that it's falling on vitamin C, then ascorbic acid and antioxidants. But with each of these, it will take either a slightly different route from the same top term. So in this case, we have bakery additives, and then ascorbic acid and vitamin C status and deficiency. Or sometimes it will come from a completely different top term. So here's one where it's coming from diseases, and all of the way down the hierarchy, it has to do with diseases, so malnutrition and then micronutrient deficiencies. And then if we go further along, it's nutrients. So here we're getting into vitamins and then the actual deficiency, or nutrition. So it's worth keeping an eye out when you're building a search, if there's more than one entry there, because it might help you add additional search terms or help you capture different search terms and make sure you're thinking about your term in the right context if you're going at it from the sort of the direction that you intend. So I'm going to just say okay with nothing in there, because I don't want that to add that to my search, but I want to think about now actually building a search. So basic search looks like it's really basic when you get into there, but it's actually a really nice search field, just a very nice platform to work with. And actually, I like it better than I like advanced search for most of my searches. So if I want to make this search a little bit more complex, so I don't just want to search variations on soy sauces, but I want to have a search where I'm thinking about the question of how, with soy sauce, bacteria in the fermentation process can actually affect the flavor of the soy sauce. Then I have to think about the concepts that are in that search, things that I want to capture. And then I want to also think about how I find the best terms for building that search. And so I've already got the soy sauces here. And I think actually I'm gonna just take out the extra bit and stick with soy sauces, but I'm going to add a row, and then I can, in this row, go to descriptors and then select from the thesaurus again. So I get back into the thesaurus. And so the second concept that I was thinking about was bacteria. Here it is. truncated already for me. So I can scroll down, I can look at it in the thesaurus, and I know that I want to add bacteria. I don't want to use microorganisms because that's too broad for what I'm thinking about, but I know that I also want to add bacillus because that's the bacteria that is most likely to be present in this process. So I've clicked on both of those, and so I've got bacteria or bacillus, and then I could definitely look at all the different bacteria options that I have, but I've got what I want. I say, okay, and that's been transferred to the second row, and these two are separated by and. So I've got soy sauces here, I've got bacteria or bacillus here, and then they need to intersect each other so that both of the concepts will be present in my results. So I've got another row, so I'm going to do the same thing again, descriptors, thesaurus. And so now fermentation. There it is. And I'm going to look and see if there's anything else that I want. Related terms can sometimes be very useful as well. And you can look at them. So I could look at, for instance, yeasts, if I thought perhaps that would be useful. In this case, I'm just going to stick with fermentation, however. And then I've got one more row, one more concept. So descriptors again, go to the source again. And what I'm thinking about how it affects the flavor. So there's flavor with the capitals, capital letters. So I'm going to look at it and add it. But then I'm also going to add umami. And click it. So now I've got my search built, and they're all thesaurus terms. They're all descriptors. And if I search it this way, then I'm only getting 13 results, so not that many. I know that all of these are really focused exactly on my topic. So depending on the purpose of your search, this can be a really quick and efficient way to search, or you might think that you really want to broaden it out more. So an easy way to broaden it out is to take the terms that you've already pulled from the thesaurus and change your field to topic. So that means that you're then searching the title, the abstract, or the thesaurus terms. And then you need to adjust these a little bit to make them work better as keywords. So what I've done right there is turned soy sauce into a phrase, and then I'm going to truncate soy sauce, the sauce bit, so that it looks for soy sauces or soy sauce. I don't need to make any changes for bacteria or bacillus, but for fermentation, I'm going to truncate again. So it's ferment, fermented, fermentation. Might be able to do something else. And then with flavor, because flavor with a U was the term in the thesaurus, if I'm searching more broadly, I'm going to broaden it out to also capture flavor, if I can spell it right, with no U, so the way it's spelt in the US or in North America. And I'm going to change all of these to topic. So you can see with a few adjustments, I can make this work quite well as a topic search. And you can see how we've gotten far more results. But if we look at the second one, we can see that the title is about an aroma, and it's like soy sauce aroma in spirits rather than the flavor in soy sauce, of soy sauce. And so all of our words are there, but they're not being used in the way that we were hoping for. So oftentimes you do want to do topic searches, and it can be really useful to do it, but it will then take a little bit more time of screening the records to see what the difference is. And if you want to actually quickly see the ones that you've got that don't have, like taking out those 13 where you know it's really focused, you can go to advanced search. And then if you scroll down on advanced search, you will get your search history. And you can combine your search history to screen away a certain set of results. So we can say we want to look at all the results that came from our topic searches here, except that we don't want to see any of them that had all of these terms in the descriptors. So that means that we say number 3, not number 2. So number 3, not number 2. And so we've got the 50 results. So the number's not a surprise at all, but it's a really easy way to clear out so that you can easily look at these to screen them more quickly. So some of them will probably actually still be quite useful, and some of them will be off topic. So one more thing that I want to show you before I get out of this just building the search, is that you don't have to just truncate at the end. So if I reset this and clear out my search, you can also truncate at the start, which is really can be an incredibly useful thing. Again, it's something where you'll want to control it because you could get some really, really, really broad results doing this. But if we do an asterisk right at the front, and then type toxy, and then truncate that again at the end, that means that we'll get any words, any letters that can begin something that ends with toxy, and any ending beyond the I for toxy. So we're going to get a lot of variations of toxic things or toxins and so forth. And so I'm going to move it away from topic just to look in the title so that we'll get a quick sense of what we might be getting from that. So we're getting a heck of a lot of results, 33,000, and you can see how we're getting ochratoxin, aflatoxin, mycotoxins, toxicology, ecotoxicity, etc., etc., etc. So being able to truncate on the left-hand side of a root is a very, very useful thing. So you might want to change that and not do it. The toxin Like you might actually find it more useful to do a search that's like just truncated on the left. That'll get us a lot fewer results, but that's something that you should be aware of as a possibility. So now I want to show you a couple things when I go back to, I'm going to go to the search history again. So we can go to search history two places. You'll remember that when we went to advanced search, we had a search history appear down below. There's also an option to go to search history here. The search history here just shows you the searches that you've run, and it doesn't give you the option to combine them the way we were able to in advanced search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this search, and click to view the results again. And the first thing I want to show you is that you have the option here when you have a search that you know that you're going to want to keep up to date with, you can create an alert for yourself. And so up here, you will have a chance to create a personal account for yourself. And when you log into it, then you can create alerts. You can name them. So I have one called soy sauce. So I'm going to call this one soy sauce flavor. You can name it whatever makes sense to you. You create the alert. I've got ticked send me the emails about it. You're able to download the search string if you want to. And when you go to manage alerts, then you can actually set the frequency for them. So where is it gone? Soy sauce flavor, there it is. So if you go to more info, then you can have it come every month or every week. You can ask to get the emails whether or not there are actually new results, and you can change your email address, or you can delete the alert if you no longer want to get it. So if I go back to the previous page, you also have options for refinement along the left-hand side of your screen. So you can just look at the open access articles if you want to. As you can see, some of these have a free full text from the publisher. You can look at the document types. You can look within various sections. So you could look at just at the patents. So patents are both sections and document types. Or you can look and see who the authors are. But a really nice way to look at all of this information is to use the Analyze Results option. So this lets you visualize it. So it's both down at the very bottom of the left-hand side of the screen and up here. When you click on it, then it will show you the results that you got organized. So, and you get to decide how you'd like to see them organized. So we can look, the default here is FSTA section, but we can also look at the source title so we can see where these things have been published. So there were quite a few patents, but then we can also see which journals they're in. And with any one of these, we can view the records just by clicking through. And there they are. I'm going to go back. And you can also look at descriptors. So this is a way where you can actually think about other search terms that might be useful for your searches. So if you're getting too many and you want to focus in a little bit more, then you might decide that you want to add some more descriptors, some more keywords to your searches. And the top ones are in these boxes, but if you scroll down, you also get a whole lot more results. And you can download the full 241 different descriptors if you want to, which could be really useful for thinking about your searches. You can also look at publication years and think of, like, see trends. So especially if you were looking at a bigger group of records, then you might really get a good sense of where the research is going by using that. And you could look at just the ones that are published most recently or something. So if I go back again, though, to our search results, I also want to point out the different options for sorting your results here. So the default is normally date with the most recent publications at the top of the list. But a really useful one can be looking by time cited. So when you sort by that, you will see results that have been cited, how much they've been cited. And if you happen to be at an institution where you have the Web of Science core collection also, then this will be a clickable link, and you can see actually all of those articles that have been cited that way. You need to bear in mind, of course, that something that's just been published won't have had a chance to have been cited very often, but it's a way where you can sort of find significant research that lots of people have thought was significant. Very, very infrequently it'll be significant because it was so bad, but most of the time it's significant because it was important research. Relevance will rank them by where your words are falling in the record. So it's a way to sort of bring the things that maybe match what you're looking for the most. And so there's also, I told you, the chance to export your records. So if you do that, I'm going to go actually back to sorting by date. You have the option to select either individual records, or you can select a full page. And then you can, at this point, either add them to a marked list, or you can export them. And so if you happen to have EndNote, it's very, very easy to export them to EndNote, but you can also email them to yourself or print them, and you have the option to decide what format you'd like them to be in, so you could get the full record if you want to. Or you can export them to other kinds of reference management software. And if you add them to your marked list, then your marked list is right up there, and you can see a running total of how much you've put over there for a search, for a search session, so while you're logged in. And then you have the option again, once you've gathered a whole lot of records together, to export them. And you can again decide how you want to, what information it is that you want to export there. So, so now I have covered what I was hoping to cover today. And so I'd like to open it up for questions.
Thank you very much, Carol. That was fantastic. So, so far we haven't received any questions through the chat function. Okay. If you would like to send us any questions, then please feel free to do so now through the chat facility. Alternatively, if you do have any questions that come to mind later, please don't hesitate to get in touch, either through social media or directly via email. We're always happy to help.
Okay. So if there aren't any questions, then I'm going to quickly show some more resources for help should you have any questions after this. So the first thing I want to show you is here in the Web of Science, there is help built into the interface. And so you can go to that. And now I'm going to go actually back quickly to my PowerPoint show and show you some other resources for help. So this is a blank search matrix, and then here it is filled in. So you can see how it can help you brainstorm for the broader terms and narrower terms that might be useful. And then here it is again, where it's been refined. So as you're running searches, usually you make adjustments, but you can see how all of the columns are synonyms, which are not actually synonyms, but words that you can group together to capture a concept. And then across are the various different concepts, all of which are separated by ands. So this is a quick screenshot of what you'll see when you go through the help button for Web of Science. And you'll also see that there are more webinars that you can attend about more things to do with Web of Science, should that be helpful. And then we at IFAS on our web pages also have support for you. So we both have short videos, which will review some of the things that I showed you today, and also PDF guides. So if you'd rather look at something static than watch a video, you have both options. We also have produced a literature search best practice guide for food science and nutrition. And so this is really much broader than just using FSTA, but thinking about how to search effectively and walking through the whole process of doing an effective search for a literature review. And it's available both as a guide, a written guide on the website, but also as an online module. So again, those are both on the website. Oops, I keep going too far. We also have a new product that's the Journal Recommendation Service. So if you're somebody who's publishing and looking for an appropriate journal to publish in that you want to make sure is not a predatory journal, that fits your research really well as well, it will, you can put your abstract into it and it will match it to journals that are likely bets for matching the topic correctly. And it lets you browse journals as well. So it's a very exciting tool for people who are publishing. For early career researchers, we have a journal publishing guide, and it's available as a written guide on the website, but also as a series of short videos, if that's a preferred way to view it. So this is something that I think would be really useful for early career researchers who are like really early career researchers who are just figuring out how to publish their first publications. Then we also have a blog. And so all of these things, are available on our website, which is ifas.org. And we'd also encourage you to follow our social media channels if you do social media. So if you search IFAS on any of those, you'll find us. And finally, if you would be at all interested in learning more about FSTA and how it can support the progression of food science research at your institution, or if you'd like to arrange a free trial, please contact Carol Durham, who's our head of sales. Or if you'd like me to deliver a webinar at your institution or company, to a broader group there, then I'm happy to do that. So please contact me at my email address, chollier@ifas.org.
Thank you, Carol. That's fantastic. We haven't received any questions, so I will give you a couple more minutes if you do want to send us anything. All of the great resources that Carol mentioned are available on our website for you to access at any time, including our training resources that are available on demand, accessed from the training page of the website and on YouTube. And so we hope you find these very useful. You'll also find future webinar details on the website. Thank you to everyone for joining us today, and I hope you've enjoyed this look into best practice searching and gained a better understanding of the FSTA search process. We hope that FSTA continues to be a valuable tool in your food science research. Thank you and goodbye.